Welcome back to the League Feed. I'm here with Brad, and we are at Whispering Falls Disc Golf Course. And picking up from where we left off, Brad, we were talking about, and my notes are all over the place on this one. We were talking about the different courses around the area, but initially when you went out to expand and maybe put a local place into play, some of the hurdles that you ran into, how you initially rolled it out to the park. Because like you said, everything was printed material,
right.
the old Excel spreadsheet, here's what we need to do type of stuff. How'd you do a costing? How'd you present it to, the park or as the local supervisor, I'm guessing? And how did it actually come together? How'd you get the funding for it?
Yeah, here we got, like I said, we got pretty lucky. We just Googled how do you propose a disc golf course, right?
Thank you, Google.
And the PDGA helped us out. It's one of the reasons I like supporting them. They have all kinds of great information about course installations, course proposals, things like that. And they have a lot of good breakdowns as far as like the benefits of a disc golf course in your park and the numbers. That's what park people want to see.
Right.
So here my brother and I came out and walked the property dozens of times, and kind of threw some frisbees around and like marked spots that we thought this would be a cool hole, took some pictures, and we made like a like an 8th grade science fair project board and said this is hole 1.
No kidding.
Through hole 18. We took it into we got on a township supervisor schedule for a meeting and proposal, and went in and proposed it and said, we think this would be a great addition to the park. We'd like to get on the master plan. And like I said, it was kind of, for this particular park, it was just perfect timing. The township supervisors at the time, we were on a first name basis.
Very accepting.
So they knew us and knew our family, and we knew them.
It's that Lescalleet family.
Yeah, like I graduated with one of the guy's sons and stuff. So it was just perfect timing.
I said they probably helped you out a little bit too. Hey, this is what we need to see.
They did. Well, yeah, after the fact they did.
What tickles their interest on a local level like that when you're presenting to a park?
Super low cost comparative to any other sport. If you're looking at a tennis court or a baseball field or a soccer field, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars usually. And you can only utilize, or how many people can that support at a time? A basketball court, 10 people. Right. Tennis court, 4 people at a time.
Sure. Yeah.
A disc golf course, 18 holes, you're looking at,
foursome, 18.
Professional basket and actual tee pad, concrete or rubber, whatever. You're talking maybe $500 a hole. Yeah,
52 people at a time.
You can have, if you do 8 foursomes, you have 72 people at a time.
Or 72. So that's Doug Mask there. Doug Mask.
Double check his scorecard. So you can have a lot of people at a a time.
If he said he had a 6 or a 7, he probably had an 8. Yeah. Okay.
And it could be, and it's minimally I don't want to say destructive, but like you disturb the land very little compared to those other sports. Like disc golfers typically want the trees, and we want the woods, and we don't want to plow the fields out.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. We do, and here we did the same. We selectively trimmed stuff out. We got rid of some invasive stuff, and we cleared out some thorns. So it's, you kind of use the lay of the land, and you can utilize parts of the property.
So the imprint's very minimal.
Yep.
The usability, the amount of people that it brings in, and I guess a board or supervisors are kind of rated on something like that, right? Whenever they put these different, it was just on Facebook, 6 months ago or whatever it is, where the how do you rate Whispering Fall or Green Castle Antrim? How do you use it and stuff like that? And I think they use those as a scorecard on how they're doing.
Sure. And it draws a lot of people in too. I mean, if you think about it,
it's called a survey.
There you go. If your local park has a basketball court, it's the same as every other park's basketball court.
Yeah, right.
But if your park has a disc golf course, that's 100% different than your neighbor's disc golf course or the park that's, 10 miles down the road, 20 miles down the road, 100 miles down the road. So people travel, and that means money. That's tourism dollars, you know.
Right.
Am Worlds just happened in York, PA. Those guys did a killer job up there. They made a lot of money for York County.
How many different
all
courses?
those
Like
people.
6 courses, I think it was. The majority of the courses we play up there.
I couldn't even guess. It was at least 6.
Yeah.
At least 6.
So it did beautiful. I get up for one day of it.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
But it was just a lot of fun. And a ton of
so
people.
it's hugely beneficial, I think, to any park.
Okay.
Really. There, you know, it does use land, but like I said, usually you try to utilize stuff that isn't being used.
Well, there's a lot of cooperation, a lot of sharing going on too, because there's a lot of mountain bike trails through here. There's a lot of hiking trails, and you guys help keep a lot of that stuff clear. Yeah,
the mountain bike trails have been awesome. The mountain bikers out here have cleaned up their trails. They've helped clean some trails for us, and there's a lot of commingling out here for sure, which is pretty much most disc golf courses.
Go along, get along type of stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. Well, concept to reality. So you proposed it to the supervisors. They accepted it. So what's the next step? You already have a pretty good idea of your layout. So now you got to put a work schedule in. And I don't want to go too much into detail about that.
Yeah, so here it was like I said, there was a group of like 10 of us maybe that had played. And we all kind of played together. Previous to here, we'd actually built a 9-hole course on my grandmother's property in State Line with some homemade tone poles, like target baskets. So we were already playing out there. So we had like 10 or 12 people that were playing out there on a regular basis.
See, I'm going to tell you, Brad, your grandmother probably called up the township and said, get these guys out of my backyard.
We're out in the horse pastures and letting gates open. All it was a mess. So then, same guys came out here and we worked with the park and said, you know, this is where we're going to go and what we're going to do. And we came out and did all the work out here and put everything in. They helped us with the field holes for sure, with some equipment usage. And it's getting it put in was probably the easiest part of the whole process.
Now
honestly.
the equipment, T-pads, T-signs, and baskets.
Yep.
And you said the PDGA helped you out a little bit.
Yeah, they helped us find it. And there's multiple manufacturers and stuff that make them. And they're all happy to send you quotes for equipment.
Sure. At that point, then you run does the township pick up portion of that tab? Do you guys run fundraisers?
Here we were super blessed that the township paid for the equipment.
Okay.
So we proposed it, and I think it was that cost to benefit ratio that I was talking about. Like, they were still building baseball fields that were costing tens of thousands of dollars to grade the ground to get it level.
Gotcha.
And we came in and said, we want to put 18 baskets in that can support 72 people. They said, how much is it going to cost? And we said, I don't know, $12,000.
Go to it.
And that's basically what they said. They said, why don't we pay for it? Because originally the question was, how are you going to pay for it? And I went in kind of not expecting it to get approved. So I didn't have a great plan. It was kind of going to be, we're going to fly by the seat of our pants, which is really how we do everything around here.
Bikini car washes.
Yeah, we're going to sell sponsorships.
You're right, we have barbecue. Sponsorships are great. Yeah, sponsor per hole.
They didn't want that. They wanted to pay for it, so that was awesome. It turned out great here. But tons of other courses have done basket fundraisers, sell sponsorship to local businesses, things like that.
We were talking a little bit about this course off camera and how I was introduced to the course, and my thoughts were exactly, these guys must have waken up, whatever, with a very strong cup of coffee and a very bad attitude on some of these holes, because this is one of the most challenging courses. I'm really surprised we haven't had a disc fly by us yet.
Not yet.
This is one of the most challenging courses in the area. I mean, I would compare it to Quaker, which has held states, I think, before.
Yep, states there.
I would definitely rate it as high as Cadorus, both courses, and I love Cadorus. And the new one, Coyote Run, I really think that probably between those four within this area, there's some of the most challenging courses that you can put in disc golf. There's some tunnel shots here. There's a lot of elevation change. It's a dipsy doodle in some cases. You're on top of one little peak of a ridge. You throw through a valley up to the next peak of a ridge. A couple of the holes that you have here that you're most proud of.
Hole 3 is probably one that's memorable for most people. It kicks their butt. It's long and straight. 500 couple feet, with a pretty steep decline and a basket on a hill.
And that is a perfect example of blending maybe a lower rated player with a pro or somebody who's been on it for quite a while, because the basket on top of the hill. Now, hole 3 runs what, 250?
Yeah,
probably
about 250.
Elevation change 20-30 feet up through a tunnel.
Slight uphill through a tunnel, and then it drops straight down about probably 50 feet, and then comes back up another 30 feet to the basket.
But just about where most intermediate throws will land is the red basket.
Yep.
So if you're playing reds,
it's the kind of hole that it's similar to like what I was thinking with like hole 8 and 9 here.
Okay.
Like, you can play it conservatively and play it safe for a quote unquote easy par.
Right.
Or you can try to get aggressive and try to get a birdie, which may or may not end you up in the woods.
The double bogey.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the name of the game out here. Is you can if you can keep it in the middle and play fairly conservative but keep it clean, you can shoot pretty well out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we got hole number 3, and once again it runs 250. Then there's probably another 150 feet up along that top, and then it drops down, I'll bet 50 feet down into a gully, and the basket's halfway up the other side.
Steep enough we put a rope in to help you walk down the hill.
So a crazy hole. That is a beautiful hole. That's the first hole I think of when I come out here too, and generally if I'm in a hurry, the one hole I miss. So maybe another hole.
Hole 15, I think, is probably another one that most people think is iconic. That's the one that has the basket up on
the raised
uphill of a pyramid. Yeah.
Sure.
And that was just kind of done to make it. It's a shorter hole. I think that's the shortest hole. It's like 190.
Right. Downhill, probably
straight,
30 feet.
Yeah, kind of downhill. It's not a far throw. It's pretty straight, but it's one that kind of tests you too, because if you don't get close enough, then you're left with what looks like a 20-foot putt, but the basket's 9 feet in the air, and straight behind it is a cliff. So if you run at the basket and miss it, you're not going to make that comeback putt.
No, so death putt. You're putting 20 feet up the hill.
I've laid up more 30-foot putts on that hole than any hole in my career. So
everybody looks at you. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I have a very distinct line on that fairway that if I'm not in front of that line, I'm not going for the putt. I'm laying up. So.
Forehand, you take the right.
It depends. Sometimes depends on my forehand's not super clean, so usually I just throw a putter straight at it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Very good deal. So a couple of holes out here. If you get a chance, come on out. It's in Greencastle, PA, Pennsylvania. For anybody that isn't from PA, Greencastle, PA. It's free to play. The first, I love the first hole. 717 club. I think the first basket used to be 717 feet or something like that. So kind of a signature hole there too. Just stepping into it, nice rolling into the woods throw. So we'll take a break. When we come back, I'll ask Brad to maybe throw out there a couple tips for some rec players or lower, or even some amateurs. Maybe what you see people doing, or maybe some tweaks that might be able to help somebody's game. And no promises. We'll be right back. If anybody out there has tournaments coming up, or if you have league results, because fall leagues are upon us, if you have anything to report on a weekly basis or whatever, you can drop the comments. Where, John?
Down below.
Down below.
And watch that ticker, by the way. That came pretty close to hitting me.
What was it, me?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the League Feed. I'm here with Brad. We're at Whispering Falls Disc Golf Course. And the moment everybody's been waiting for, how do you improve your game? A couple little tweaks.
Probably, I would say my biggest tip for any aspect of your game is to simplify. Simplify everything. Simplify your disc selection, simplify your mental game, simplify your form. Most new players have too many different discs, too many different types of discs, too many drivers. Everyone says throw nothing but putters, which I think that's great if you throw nothing but putters, but it's going to make you really good at throwing putters, not necessarily throwing drivers.
Right. There's a little different grip on a putter than a driver.
You do have to step up to drivers at some point. So I wouldn't say just drivers, but I would just definitely say simplify. You know, pick one or two that feel really good in your hand, fly how you would like it to, That way your selection is minimal. You're
Right.
not
Simplify,
Yep,
slow
you're
it down a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're not stressing about what disc
Right.
you're going to throw. Simplify your form. The less movements, the better. Keep it smooth. You don't want to be, jerking your arms around, jerking your body around. Keep everything real smooth, as compact as possible.
Right.
And you need to do what feels comfortable to you. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's hand is different. No grip that you see on YouTube or Facebook
Right.
is going to perfectly work for you without some
Isn't
adjustment.
it funny, because everybody, you look at flight patterns, which
Yep.
which are great for beginners,
Yeah,
because you get an
absolutely. And it
idea
gives
what's
you-
going to
It
happen.
gives you a baseline. Yep. So
Right.
I can look at the flight numbers and know, based on what other flight numbers that I
Right.
know on a disc that I like,
How it's going to fly
how
for
that one's
you.
going to fly. Right.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's going to fly for
Same
you.
for me. Right.
Yep.
Different arm speeds, different
Yeah.
snap.
Yeah, well, and the guys that you're watching on Jomez, they're throwing 600 feet.
Mm-hmm.
If I try to use their grip, it may not work for me, because my hand's different, my
Right.
swing's different, my body's different. So you got to do what works for you. There's obviously good mechanical baselines that you want to hit.
Right.
You want to get your levers in the right spot, get your momentum going in the right spot. But as far as like the actual form, you got to just practice. You got to get it right.
And there was the Dunaface video that just came out not too long ago. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, and he starts talking about all this reach back and everything. Really, the whip portion of it is what is essential. But in all honesty, when you take a look at it, that's essential for a lot of players. But there's a lot of other things, you keeping the elbow up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's going to mean the world of difference. And the reach back really does get people to turn their shoulders
Yeah.
and stuff. So there's no cure-all out there. There's
No.
there's no up your game with some magical
time,
right
practice. You gotta-
and
you gotta-
hypnosis. Yeah.
You got to go to the field and get the reps in.
Right,
That's it,
absolutely.
And then simplifying your mental process. That's probably the biggest one for me.
Okay.
Is you want to focus on the shot at hand. Don't worry about what you already did. Don't worry about what's coming up. Don't worry about what the other people in your card are doing. The only thing you can control is this next shot right in front of you. So you want to focus on that.
Right.
And that's all you want to be thinking about.
Just breathe out, leave
Yep.
all
And
that
as soon
frustration,
as
everything.
you make that throw, let it go. It already happened. You can't control it now.
Good deal.
It happened. Move on to the next one. And then, your shot selection should be going for a shot that you can make as easily as possible, as many times as possible.
Right.
So look for the biggest gap that you can hit comfortably, and that's what you want to do.
Right. Don't try to do anything above your ability.
No,
that's for practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Practice rounds and stuff. Sometimes you want to try something crazy, but when you're playing for a competitive round, whether it's $1 with your buddies or $1,000 at a tournament, you want to take the shot that you can make.
Good deal.
Yep.
So we were also talking a little bit about what we carry in our bags. Now, we both are very, very strong supporters of things that will keep your hands dry.
Yep.
Mine's homemade kitty litter in a little sack, and it's just white clay. It dries. You put a little bit on your disc, you rub it around,
Yep.
takes all the moisture away. You have some actual bags that you use.
I use sport sacks. They work great for me. I like them. They don't leave a lot of residue. They dry my hand really well, and I can bang them on my disc, get a little bit of dust out there, and it's part of my routine now. I carry them around and bang them on everything while I'm throwing them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, hey, let's wrap this up, and hopefully we'll get you back again soon.
Sure.
So thanks for everybody for watching the League Feed. I did want to drop out there on your website, your Facebook page, if anybody wants to get in contact with you, know what's coming up.
You can go to whisperingfalls.net. That'll redirect you to our club Facebook page, and you can find us on Disc Golf Scene. And you search for 717 Flying Disc Club, and you'll find us on Disc Golf Scene. That's where we keep all of our leagues and everything. Everything's updated there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Have a good one, and we will see you, if I learn how to talk again, we'll see you again next week.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man.